Hey everybody, welcome to episode 137. Okay, today I figured I'd do the demos on the stuff. So, a couple of new things. Obviously, you kind of knew I was getting this for Christmas from Santa Claus. My son got me this guy. I'm going to go over everything in just a minute. And then I'm going to finally demo the Leo James a little better. And I'm also going to demo... as I fall over, if you can see it. Sorry, my room's all cramped here. My son's Westcreek green lizard that I got him for Christmas. So it's probably a good day to do all that stuff. So I'm going to go over the stuff. I'm going to run the guitar just direct. I think the Leo James is plugged in right now. I'm going to run the guitar in direct into this guy, which is a Behringer, you're over here, Behringer Tube Monster. And then we're going to run it through, we're going to run it from the Tube Monster into this orange 20 watt RT. And I've got a little bit of, you're going to get a little bit of reverb from my room, not much. I'm using just the simple microphone here, which is pretty close proximity to the speaker here. I only want to run it at like 2 because, I'm in an apartment and obviously going to make everybody go nuts upstairs if I jam it. So I normally wear headphones with this when I play. I try to encourage my son to do the same too. All right, let's go over the first thing. So you guys know the Leo James. I kind of went over that in the Leo James video. The only thing I might add, as far as a follow-up, is, and I've noticed this. This happened also on my Kataxin bass too, the Burning Fire. I haven't had any issues, no real buzzing, no, with the weather change, it's 3 degrees outside right now next to my window, so it's pretty cold out there. It's snow. We got the big snow, blast this weekend. I think my acoustic, you can't see it's hiding behind the amplifier, but my acoustic's a little wonky because of the weather, but the electric guitars seem to be okay. The only thing I noticed about the Leo James and also happened with the Kataxin, seemed like it happened like simultaneously, although they're completely different makes, is on this one, I believe it's the volume knob to the, bridge pickup is, you can tell that little nut that, the knob or switch would go into, and you get that little nut that goes on there that you can't really get to while the knob's on, come a little loose. So when you go to turn it up to 10, it wants to go to 11 because it wants to move a little bit. Same thing happened with my bass on almost essentially the same thing, the volume knob. Obviously I use the volume knobs a lot. But I cranked the volume knob up just yesterday, and it was just like, it moved a little bit. And then I was playing with this one today, same thing, it moved a little bit. So I've got to pop the knobs off there at some point, that and with the Kataxin, and just tighten up that nut. It's just come loose, and that might be because of the weather. Maybe just the humidity change or the dryness of the winter might have loosened it up a bit. I don't know, I guess. I mean, it's the main volume knob that I use a lot. Actually, take it back. Well, I keep most of the volumes up on this, but really I primarily use the bridge pickup because I'm more of a rhythm player. So, sometimes I'll have them both up because I like to switch to the midsection. And of course, my son grabs my guitar; he's right to the treble, so it's always up. But maybe I am turning down the. I don't know. It just seems like it's weird how they both kind of start doing it at the same time. I haven't had an issue with his new guitar, and then. What else does he have here? He's got his red Ibanez out there in the living room. He hasn't really... he actually picked it up a little bit this week. I'm wondering if the Explorer style, because it's an extreme body shape's a little too unruly for him, maybe. He loves the look of it. And he also got the same thing, Westcreek Flying V from his mother, which is at his mother's house, where he's got the day off school today. But he's probably at his mom's house right now, jamming away on that one. So I'm going to demo both. I'm going to demo both guitars, but I'm going to talk about the Westcreek and our experience with that. So I can't do an unboxing, obviously, because he unboxed it for Christmas. And actually, before I even gave it to him for Christmas, I went in just to check and make sure everything was okay. Tuned it up, before I put it back in the box, wrapped it back up, and gave it to him. You know, I just didn't want him to, you know, Christmas Day, I didn't want him to rip open a guitar and have it, you know, just exploded in the box. I did that with his Ibanez. He has a blue Ibanez too that I got him last year. I kind of did the same thing with that. I made sure it was okay before I gave it to him. So, like I said, I'm running. I just got a guitar cable coming here, nothing else fancy. Although he got a wireless that I'm not really, it's not an expensive wireless. I'm not a huge fan of it. It makes a little bit of a noise, which I don't like. He loves it because he loves to be able to walk around the room, you know, and be cool. Me, I don't know if I like that. I mean, obviously the more you spend on a wireless unit, you know, if you're spending like $35-40 on a wireless unit, there's probably going to be some issues with it. It's not terrible, but just a little bit of noise I don't like. And sorry, my heater is going to probably go on and off because I got it set at 68 here, and it's 3 degrees outside, so it's probably going to do what it can to compensate with that. But anyways, so yeah, I've got it running just a regular guitar cord into the vintage Tube Monster. Now, with the Tube Monster, you know, he asked me, "What do you want for Christmas, Dad?" And I went, "Well," I said, "I kind of been looking at this Behringer makes these vintage series. They have a vintage phaser, which I may or may not get, and they have a vintage Tube Monster, which is basically this guy. You know, it's metal too, you know, metal knobs and stuff. It's not like the normal Behringer stuff that's plastic. This is all metal. It's got your vent too, because it literally does have a vacuum tube inside. And they go for $99.99 on Amazon. He found it at Guitar Center for $50 used, and it really wasn't that. It had some Velcro on the bottom from somebody putting it on a pedal board. I just pulled that off because I don't have a pedal board. And they wrote, I guess they wrote with a blue Sharpie on it, output, pointing to the output, even though it says output right there. And then G for input, which I'm assuming means guitar. If you don't know what an output and input is, I don't know what to tell you. However, that said, speaking of my son, he hasn't mastered it, but he's got down Eric Johnson's Cliffs of Dover. He's 12 years old. He started playing just over a year ago, going from nothing to just over a year ago. He's 12 years old. He can play Cliffs of Dover note for note. Play Master of Puppets note for note. Play Mr. Crowley note for note. Can play Eruption note for note, right? In a year. However, he calls me up and says, "Hey Dad, I got this crybaby from Grandpa." Yeah? He says, "It's not working." He goes, "Do I have it hooked up right?" And I go, "Well, do you have the guitar plugged into what says instrument on the cable and amplifier on the other side of the pedal, right? You guys know what a crybaby looks like, right?" He's like, "No, I got them backwards." How can you play Cliffs of Dover, Eruption, Mr. Crowley, the solos? I'm not talking about the rhythm. The solos, note for note, in perfect time. He hasn't mastered them. He's needs a little polish. He's 12, but he's got them down, and he doesn't know which plug to plug the guitar in. Sorry if you're listening to this, my son. Anyways, but I'm just saying, there's a point. Maybe this person also has, is probably a guitar virtuoso like him, who also suffers from the same problem, knowing what's the out. Oh no, it says amp. I'm sorry, it says amp. Amp, G. Okay, so amplifier, guitar, input, out. I don't know. Just to me, it doesn't seem like it's a rocket science. You put something into it, and then it goes out. Sorry if anybody of you guys have your what do you call it? All of your gear at home has got Sharpies written all over it, so you know which way to put your guitar, plug your guitar in. If you do, you're probably a lot better musician than me, anyways, and I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, that's on there. So for $50, I got a little bit of rush. I'd probably get some remover. I could probably pull the marker off there at some point. I don't want to damage stuff, but I like some of my stuff to look nice. Because I listen with my ears, I listen with my eyes, So, anyways, and also, as you notice, everything's all matchy-match. My guitar's got some cream plastic, got the cream tweed. This is a recurring joke with my son. I wanted to get some tennis shoes back when he was really young to match my bike. And I said, oh, I need to get some new shoes, so I'm matchy-match. And he was like, I want to be matchy-match. So I had to get him some shoes to match his bike, right? Like I said, I listen through my eyes. So, anyway, I just thought that was cool. I was like, notice, cream. Hey, I really like cream. Hey, and speaking of cream, I'll play some cream for you on this, just so we can keep in the cream, thing. Whatever, cream motif. Anyways. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I've gone from there to here. Now this has a dirty channel and has a clean channel. It has two channels. I don't have the little foot switch that you can get to plug in. I'll probably get that at some point. However, I do notice I'm using the overdrive on this because it's a tube overdrive and it sounds a lot better, and you'll hear the difference. I mean, the dirty on this sounds awesome on the orange amplifier. Don't get me wrong. A 20-watt amplifier. It's got a little bit of reverb on it. And you throw the dirty on there, I mean, I gotta say, I'm not gonna piss anybody off who loves Marshalls, but I've owned a Marshall. I owned a 35-watt Marshall amplifier before, and it sounded awesome, right? I had it in the 90s, and I was in love with it. I got rid of it. But anyways, I gotta say, I just like the sound of this more. It's got more of a raunchy 60s, 70s vibe to it, which I love. And it's got that, it just sounds amazing. And this speaker here, being that I'm only on 2, the volume's only on 2, it doesn't have any difference between going from 2 to 10. It still has the same quality coming out of the speaker, which is amazing because the Fender Champion does not do that. You turn it up to 10, it's okay. You turn it up to 3, 4, 5, it slowly gets better. But obviously living in an apartment, we can't do that. So, this little configuration should sound pretty good. I'll listen to the playback. I see my levels on my microphone here is not clipping. Well, my voice is not clipping, but I tried it with the guitar and it wasn't clipping. So it shouldn't overdrive there, and it should come in, and it should be loud enough without pissing off the neighbors. So we'll give that a shot. But I got it on clean now because I'm running this, and I've got this set to. Well, right now the overdrive's off, so you can do the clean channel first. And I've got it. Here's my settings without moving the camera. My reverb is set at 50%. Like I said, I'm gonna get it's more like a little bit, maybe a room or a little big room sound when I hit it at 50%. 25% gives you like a room. You go over 50%, you're talking hall and larger room sound reverb. All of my my EQ, my bass, treble, and mid is all at 12 o'clock. I try to set everything at 12 o'clock just so I can tweak from there, but you know what? I find myself not wanting to budge much from 12 o'clock. I like 12 o'clock on most of that stuff. Because remember, I like to play more mid-range on the guitar. Like I said, I'm either going rhythm setting or double, middle setting, and I'm playing a lot of rhythm. And I want it to have that kind of deeper, rooty, kind of 70s, 60s kind of distortion sound, more of like an Eric Clapton, raunchier kind of sound than say like a really high over the top gain. And on this thing, it's also got a 3-band EQ. I'll show you. I'll show all this stuff on Amazon later so you can see everything. But you've got your mid, your treble, and your bass here, and I've got them all set at 50%. We'll leave them there. We've got master, which is my main volume, set at 50% here. So I'm not totally sending all of it into here. Like again, I just don't want to. It's not that I'm worried about overpowering the speaker at this level. I don't really care, but I just don't want to, And that's what I started with, and I like the sound, so maybe I'll experiment later, but I like it at the master at 5. And my gain on here I set at 7. And then when I show you my dirty on the amplifier here, dirty channel, I'm about the same, 7. On the that's where I like to stay at like 7. Like I like that for the gain. I'm not a crank it up to 10 kind of gain person. Between 5, 6, 7's good for me. I like that more, that different sound. So that's what I'm working with. You guys probably Sorry, this is all Titty Wonka steer. Sorry about that. You guys probably like a different setting. Obviously, my son, gain all the way up, throws it into treble, bridge pickup only, cranks the... I mean, doesn't... I try to EQ his stuff and try to keep it kind of bass so he doesn't get crazy. But he'll crank the... He doesn't like any of that. He just wants me. He just wants to shred all it. And he can do it, but he doesn't want to play rhythm that much. He wants to shred, so he wants everything over the top. I'm the exact opposite. I mean, I'm essentially a bass player, so I'm more playing bass. Sorry, coming from that perspective. So, and you'll hear how I play guitar. Like I said, I'm not really warmed up today, so I'll probably make a lot of mistakes. But my playing is, you can definitely tell my guitar playing comes from somebody who's played the bass first. So we'll leave it at that. Let's do the Leo James first, because I know there was somebody who wanted to hear this Leo James. So let's crank this guy up. And do you like my new strap, my Kiss Rock and Roll Over strap? Anyways, I even got some Kiss picks around here. Some are from the solo albums, but I don't see them at the moment, so I have to go with the old trusty Iron Maiden pick there, which is starting to get some use. It's one of those, what are they, Paris leather or whatever. That's the same people that make the strap. So I can already hear her walking around upstairs. She's probably pissed off that I'm talking. Let's see how we get. How's that coming? I'll use the master here to tweak the. It's probably not coming through as much as I wanted it to, like before. That's probably good. That sound good? Alright, I'm on, got my rhythm set here. I usually turn them all up, like I said, because I'll use the middle to get that sound. But I usually leave it on rhythm. And then I'll go to, I believe, let me just try. This is the loose one. Yeah, so it is the bridge pickup volume that's loose. And obviously there's my neck pickup volume. So I usually go neck pickup. I hit the tone all the way up, and I'll usually back the tone off to about 7. Kind of seems like that's my area. I like the tone to cut a little bit. So that's just open chord, clean channel. Through that amplifier, this is not engaged, right? So we'll do some like... So what was I trying to play? I'm trying to learn Sweet Home Chicago. Just a little bit of palm muting on there. So come on, baby, won't you please come on? Come on, baby, won't you please come on? The same old place, Sweet Home Chicago. Alright, so that's some clean channel, chugga, palm muting stuff. Yeah, this is my chords. Sound to it. The neck feels amazing. Like I said, I played a real Les Paul. Actually, I picked up a real Les Paul at Guitar Center. Somebody had one down from the top rack. It was just like a standard, and I was like, oh, hey, there's the real Les Paul. And I just played it just because I was curious, And I was like, feels a little better, for $30,000 as opposed to what I paid for it, $120. Normally I go for $190 for these. So, is it $2,000 better than this? I don't think so. Let's hit that. Let's do some Dirty Channel. Now this is the orange Dirty Channel, not the Tube Screamer. You know what that is, don't you? If you know what it is, I'm not going to say what it is. If you know what that is, put it in the comments, see if you can figure out what that is. I'm not playing it exactly right. He's supposed to go, he plays a little differently. A little bend on that that note. I don't bend on it. I just go straight power chord. I think you can go before you go to the A, but that's what I do. Here's the chorus. Sorry, I'm not warmed up at all, so I just drew all morning for my comics, so I'm kind of, usually I do this in the evening when I'm a little more looser, not very loose today. Anyways, so that's the sound of the Leo James. I mean, it's got the, it's got some nice sound to it. Let's try to blue, no, that's not it. What am I trying to play? So that's got that. I like that, like, kind of like, I think I talked about this in my Ghost video. I like that distant, kind of distant Les Paul, real throaty Les Paul, kind of like. I don't know what the song is that they're playing. I like that sound. Alright, speaking of Cream, let's try some Cream. I'll play Cream on both of them and see how that sounds. Because it just, I noticed that the Sunshine of Your Love really gives you that pop that you really want to kind of test that sound with. So we'll do the first part, the. Oh, sorry, I screwed it up already. Sorry, not warmed up. See, and then they get to go. Alright, so you get the point with that. So let's switch over to the Tube Monster, and we'll notice the difference here. So we'll go back to here. Maybe bring it down a little bit, because I'm going to kick this guy in. It might. Sorry, I'm all, can't really, just not loose. Just not hitting it today. Anyway, so you hear it's got that, it sounds more like a amplifier. Let's crank up the bass just a little bit, because it seems a little tinny. Bring the treble down a bit. that song from Blue Cheer. I love Summertime Blues. Summertime Blues was that. It was funny. It was like watching a. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was Freedom Rock, a commercial back in the 80s or whatever. Yeah, I don't think it was Freedom Rock. But I was watching some, like, Sounds of the 70s, or Sounds of whatever it was. Actually, is that 68? I don't know, I can't remember what year that was. Blue Cheer. It might have been 68. But it was like, Sounds of the 70s or whatever, kind of K-Tel record, two-tape or album collection. And they were just going through a lot of stuff, like showing the videos and stuff. And they come across, they're doing like Inagata Davida. I can't remember it at the moment. Inagata Davida. And then they do this, like these guys, and they've got like this crazy long hair, and like the drummer, you can't even see his face, right? And then the guitar player, I'm exaggerating because when I saw the videos, like it's not as crazy as I thought it was as a kid. But then I saw like the guy playing the bass, and he's like, just like, it's like Yosemite Sam, like you can't see any, like Cousin Ed, you see his hair, and just says, there's that kind of look to it, and I'm like, oh, those guys look badass. I love the sound of that. Blue Cheer was the band. I didn't know that back then, but Blue Cheer is the band. They do that Summertime Blues. I love that song. I mean, I can play it better than I'm playing it right now, trust me. Or don't trust me. So when you're playing those like partial chords, like Kiss, that type of thing, or the I just love that sound. I mean, you can get that sound with the Marshall too. I mean, that's kind of that sound. But I just love the orange. I think I really like the orange better. It's not just because it matches the guitar. I just like that sound. That. That sound. I just love that. I just love that. That type of sound. So hopefully the person who wanted to hear that with this specific guitar sound, like that's what it sounds like. I mean. Sorry, I'm messing that up. So, you're going for that sound. This guitar, that tubes monster, this orange amp, that's what you need to get that sound. I love it. Obviously, if you're a better musician, you're a better guitar player. And I'm not really much of a guitar player. You're gonna get, the better results than I do. Funny thing playing about the guitar though, even the bass, I didn't pick up my bass out of the closet, till last year on Halloween. Not last year, but the year before, 2022, around Halloween time. That's when my son started. So it's been just a little bit over a year since he started. That's when I hadn't picked it. I pretty much haven't picked up a guitar 20 years since then. So him learning from scratch, I'm kind of relearning it all over again. So this is my 1 year of, or a little over a year of practice, pretty consistently, almost every day. And then you've got my son who can just smoke. That's the difference between a 12-year-old kid and a 50-year-old man. Brains working. And that's not Sweet Home Chicago. Gonna come on. Same old lady, Sweet Home Chicago. Alright, so yeah, that's the Leo James. So let's cut that out for a second. Let's switch guitars, and we'll go over to my son's Westcreek, and I'll give you a little demo on that one as well. And I'll talk about a little bit more about, I'll show you the Amazon listing and stuff, and kind of how we arrived at the decision to get that one. This is my influence, of course. He thought it was cool. It was my influence. I said, you know, you got an Explorer, right? Here's a hint for what I was playing earlier. I said, you got to have yourself a Rick Nielsen strap if you're going to have play an Explorer. So I'm not going to do his, well, maybe I have to because it'll slip out of my hand, but I'm not going to fit into a 12-year-old's strap setting. I have to make it as much for a fat guy as possible here. So that's the Westcreek. The specific color on this is called a green lizard, and that's kind of what sold him on it. When he saw it, he's like, oh, I want one of those kind of guitars. I said, oh, the name of the finish on it's green lizard. He was like, oh, I gotta have the green lizard, you know, because he loves pancake heads. You probably go back and watch my videos, and I'll talk about why my son calls things pancake heads. It's a Fortnite reference. But anyways, you know, it's an Explorer. I mean, it's as unruly and thick, big hunk of lumber. It's got, you know, it's got that little seam on it. It's solid mahogany guitar, you know, solid through. This one looks even more solid. Yeah, this is not a, mine's a glued on for my, it's not a bolt on. Mine's glued pressed. This is a solid. This is all the way through. This is just one solid piece, and then it's got a lacquered back to it. You know, it's got a maple top, which has got that cool kind of, you know, fine stuff. You can see where the, you know, they got the seams. There's only one seam out right down the middle for the maple top. I think mine's made out of 3 pieces, I think, on the Leo James. Yeah, I mean, you got your switch here. You got your volume, both your volumes, and then you've got one tone knob. I think that's how it is on a real Explorer. I don't think there's 4 knobs. Sorry, just keep dropping my pick. I'll just plug this thing in while we're at it. You know, 2 humbucker pickups, you know, just like most Gibsons. It's got the, I like the look of the all chrome. I like the look. I know this is more, you know, has that look to it, but I like the all chrome on it. I think that looks pretty cool. It would be neat on here. Now this guitar, I played his Westcreek Flying V, and the Flying V is okay, but it has a definitely different feel as far as the neck than this neck. I just assumed it was the same neck, but it's not. This is a completely different neck that's than on his Flying V. I personally like the feel of this neck better than the one on his Flying V, even though it's the same company. So we'll give it a little sound of this one too. Got a nice sound to it. Got it in his setting. here's one thing that's different. This, even though these are both inexpensive copies of, you know, famous Gibsons, this is a much more expensive guitar. Not much more, but I mean relatively more expensive guitar than the Leo James. Westcreek's, this one I think, I know his Flying V I think was like 260 that his mom got him. This one was 230 I think. There was a coupon, you know, at the time, so I think I got like 210. But this one even, you know, at its base, even without a discount, is a more expensive guitar than the Leo James. So I'm not saying it sounds any better. Definitely it's a different feel. I'm not saying it's a better feel than my Leo James, but the neck definitely is a better feel. That is. You know what that is? I can't remember the lead to this. Here's some leading. So here's some leading through in his. I don't like that. I like that. Sorry. I like that. Just like that. I just like that sound better than more of the, you know, higher treble-y stuff. I like the lower bassy stuff. So I turned the bass up to 7 and I brought the treble down to 3 on the Tube Monster. Kept the mid-range, I'll keep it in the middle, because if you get too much mid-range, it gets real wonky sounding. I might even crank up the bass a hair here, bring the treble back a little bit. Let's just palm mute on that and see if it has that cool sound. Waller around on that E string just so you can kind of feel how that throaty, you know, when you do those partial notes. So anyways, you get the general idea. So this is the difference between the two guitars. That's what they both sound like through, like I said, Behringer Tube Monster into an orange RT20. Like I said, if you want to skip to the, if you didn't hear in the beginning, it kind of gave the settings and stuff. Most of the stuff's at like noon, 12 o'clock on the knobs. Some stuff I crank, goes up a little bit to 7, sometimes it goes down to 3 or 4. So it's kind of where I stay at. And again, I always, play more of a more bassier neck pickup by putting it in rhythm, kind of, or sometimes I'll go to the mid. I like that rhythm sound more. It's just what I prefer. So you guys can do whatever you want. You can run it through different stuff, but so I'm pretty satisfied with everything here. The my son likes that. Like I said, I find I think he realizes how unruly like a flying deer and explorer can be. So I'll say at 12. I mean, it's a big, looks like a base on him. It's big. As he gets a little older and a little bigger, he might, he'll grow into it as much like buying a pair of pants. He'll grow into it. But I think he's used to those Ibanez's, kind of being smaller. Because he had the two Ibanez. He still has them, but I mean, he plays with two Ibanez's. But he has a Leo. He has that Leo James. It's like more of like a studio Les Paul. That Leo James single cut Scorpion with the Scorpion on it. I don't think it's still available anywhere. I think he got one of the last ones. He hasn't talked about it much, so I don't know how much he's playing that one. Again, I mean, it's heavy. It's not as heavy as that one, but it's still heavy guitar. And I think he's realizing these Gibson guitars, the Gibson style guitars, are pretty heavy guitars. A lot of, all three of them I think he has are made out of solid mahogany. So, I mean, it's a decent piece of lumber there. So he's used to the, the Ibanez's, which are, when you go pick up an Ibanez now, he's like, geez, these things are like paper thin light. I prefer the heavy guitars. I like the heavier sound. I mean, he likes things that are heavy, and he likes, some of the classic metal stuff, or heavy metal. I hate when people call it metal. Anyways, some of the classic metal stuff, but he likes the real trebly, over-the-top stuff. He doesn't like that throaty, bassy, distorted, dirty sound that I like, because obviously coming from the bass, Oddly, I don't usually use a lot of gain or overdrive on my bass. I like it to be pretty clean. And even with my bass, I'll do a bass demo here at some point. I'll demo the Fender Rumble. You kind of heard it a little bit in the Contaxon video. But it has I like to kind of, almost like, not like a James Jamerson where it's really like take all the treble out of it whatsoever, but I like to crank the treble down a little bit. I like the bass up and the treble down a bit, and then on the amplifiers, I usually go 75% or whatever, like an 7 or 8 on the, basically the opposite, no, sorry, the same as this setting, but on the bass too, Mid-range I keep at noon. I bring the bass up to about 7. I bring the treble down to about 3 or 4, and then I back the treble off a bit, not all the way, but I back the treble off on the bass, and I'll usually play with that neck pickup, and I barely, even with the two humbuckers, I barely play both of them or the bridge, and I like that like where it's almost like a seamless bass, like there's not a lot of. It's like a seamless bass sound, a little bit of treble in there, but not a lot. So I guess I play the guitar just like I play the bass, same relative settings, like just no overdrive. I mean, actually the Contaxon. Let me make this also about the Contaxon. If you guys were watching that video, it's a quiet guitar. I mean, the two humbuckers in it are probably not that great, right? So it's not that they don't sound bad. It sounds great, the guitar. It's just that it's really low. So I've noticed with the 25 watt, Rumble, Fender Rumble, it has that overdrive button on it, and it gives you some gain. And I will actually crank the gain up to about 4, almost 5, 50%, and I'll hit the overdrive, and it brings the bass up to where comfortable level where it should be. But without that gain, it's a little quiet. Whereas if you plug in my Spectre, the Spectre, that's that level without the gain. So it needs that boost. So it's a good thing I got that amp for that little boost. Otherwise, I'd have to buy an overdrive pedal, like a bass overdrive pedal or a preamp pedal to boost that those pickups. I'm sure you can buy new pickups, and they don't sound bad. They sound great. And here's the everyone's like, oh, why don't you just tear out those cheap pickups and put in some $200 pickups? I'm not putting $200 pickups in a $100 guitar. It's pointless. Just turn the gain up. Just turn it up, and then when you can hear it more, preamp it so you get more power to it. Once you get more power to it, the clarity is fine. There's no buzz in it. It doesn't buzz. It's nice and clear. In the way I play it less trebly, so it doesn't have to be as clear. And it sounds just as good as the the Spectre does once you set it right. It's all about the settings, you know. And like I said, you guys might not like my settings or how I set things. You're like my son, you know, he's completely opposite. He wants a completely different sound, and that's fine. So you just got to dial it in. And as long as everything's functioning and works and nothing's broken, you know, you can get some great sounds out of stuff. You know, or is it professional level recording? I don't know. What's that mean? You know, if you want a dirty, raunchy, broken sound, maybe that's your style. And that's what you're gonna, you know, that's what you're gonna put out. Maybe it's what people like about your stuff is your stuff sounds broken. Music's just like any art. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a, you know, it's an expression of yourself. If you're a cheap, dirty person like myself, there you go. You know, works just fine. Let me, before I take off here, because we're getting close to the hour, let me, feel like we're in class. Hey, students, getting close to the hours. Let's wrap this chapter up here. So anyways, so let's go over to Amazon here. So here's Westcreek guitars on Amazon. As you can see, that's one right there. Same guitar, just different finish. And I always thought these are kind of cool. They're like an SG style with this like race stripe, and they're kind of like an elongated SG. I was thinking about getting one of these. I like that on there too with the Westcreek. You know, the W. That's neat looking. I don't know if I'm going to get yellow, but I think that looks cool. I think these look cool. You know, if you talk about blues, you want to play some blues, just get yourself a, you know, what's that, basically a copy of like a Sheraton or like what's that? Is it a GS? Gibson? I don't think that's a Gibson GS. Gibson GSs, I think, are thicker. I think that's more like a Sheraton, like B.B. King plays. Or like maybe a Chuck Berry guitar. Yeah, you want that? That's pretty cool. I don't know much about the DCs. So here's this. So currently, so the one he has specifically is unavailable. Yeah, no, actually, no. That's the. Okay, so they have like an army green one, which looks cool too, but they don't actually have the. That's not the green lizard. I think the green lizard is gone. Remember, they make these guitars in batches, and they may or may not come back. You can get one black, white. There's the green one. That one, say that one was unavailable? Okay, there's 11 left of the green one. Yeah, I don't even see the... do they even have the Flying V's left anymore? See, there's more like a classic SG. That's a cool look. I mean, that Leo James SG, I'm not sure about it. Somebody I know has made a comment about it in the comments, and I was thinking about that one, and then I was like, I don't know, there's something about it just didn't seem right. This is obviously a more expensive guitar, but that other SG's got the chrome. I don't know, I'm kind of up in the air on it. I like the chrome ones. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the racing stripe. I like the black and the white, looks cool. I would get a black SG anyways, so, you know, for the same price, I guess I would probably get this one, even though I like the solid color better. So my son's got this specific. This is his Flying V. I kept joking with him. Your mom got you the amber one. No. He wants the. This is total Ace Frehley too. It's blue, and it's sparkle silver. The whole back of the neck silver, as you can see in this one here. This black one, sparkle. You know, Princess Sparkle Pants back. Actually, it's called Jet Boat. It's called Jet Boat Metallic. I don't know if you guys know what a jet boat is. My dad growing up on Lake Orion, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, and then when I came along in the 70s, going out and seeing my uncle Rick and his jet boat Black Magic out on Lake Orion. A lot of the jet boats had jet boat is basically a water jet for an engine, so it's just it's a rocket on a lake. You can get a small lake, you can get from one side to the other lake in nanoseconds. They're basically, those boats are way too big for a small lake, but that's where they're all, you know, rocking it out at. But anyways, you get that jet boat and a lot of that metallic. You've probably seen it on like old like rides, you know, like old you know, carnival rides. Has that color. It's very 70s, 60s, 70s. It's that metallic. They call it jet boat metallic. because, you know, I don't know if the jet boats are the first ones to start that, but it's got a jet boat metallic. Oh, that's cool. I think the black one with the jet boat metallic looks pretty sweet to me. He's got this blue one though. Great guitar. It's a different neck than the Explorer. Totally different neck. Has a completely different feel to it. Not worse or better. I like to say that the Explorer's got a little bit better feeling neck on it. Now the Flying V it's 269 as opposed to 239 for the this guy here. These might not even be available anymore. They might be all sold out. These are sold out too. Yeah, so we got them. Get them while the getting's good. And this double SG copy, those are gone. Oh, those are almost gone. One left in stock. This is on Amazon. I mean, you can probably find these on other sites, but I usually go with the Amazon. But yeah, the green one's about all that's left on those. Yeah, so Westcreek looks like. The cool thing is usually that means that they're gonna come out with the new models for like the next year, new batches. So this is all stuff from 2023. Good stuff. I mean, like I said, you could get their whole catalog. I mean, you could buy one of every style guitar here for what? Let's just do the math real quick here. Let's just say they're $250 a piece, just to be $250 a piece to be easy. So 1, 2. Sorry, no, you just don't want 1, 2, 3, 4. You're at $1,000. 5, 6, 7. Okay, you can get their whole catalog for $1,700, and you're getting how many guitars? 7 guitars for under 2,000, for right around less than 2,000. Try to do that with Gibson. Try to do that with Epiphone. And I think you'd be surprised how nice they are. I mean, they're cool. I mean, like I said, it looks cool. It's good stuff for the price. I mean, people can hate and be all they want. So yeah, it's just cheap Chinese crap. But I think we've gone over this a couple of times now in my videos. That cheap kind of Chinese crap does not sound bad, and it isn't as cheap as you think it is. I mean, it's got some quality to it. I like that. I'm not a huge purple person, but that's just got a nice look to it. So yeah, so there's that. There's the Westcreeks. Now, obviously, remember, there's the Leo James that I have. It's still available for $189, and you can get. There's a few other colors. There's a skull one. Some people like the British one. There's the American flag one. There's the I think it's called, not the cherry sunburst. I think it's called the tobacco sunburst. I think that has a cool look to it too. I won't opt for that one. Let's just go to the Leo James site just real quick. So I just want to show you. They're really pushing these guitars. These are more like an Ibanez guitar. I'm not a huge fan of these at all. And they got a lot of Telecasters. A lot of them look like they're selling out. So they'll get a new batch as well. That looks really cool. I think that green looks cool on that Les Paul. They've got your do-it-yourself guitars. But Leo James is kind of, looks like they don't even have any of the SGs left anymore. I think you can still get them if you just look them up on Amazon. They're just not seeing them on the site here. But they got the SGs. They're like $119.99 or $119 even, I think I would probably go with the Westcreek SG better. It's a little bit different. Just looks cooler, and I bet you it's got a lot of it. I mean, you're not going to pay much more for it. Well, you'd pay $100 more for it, but it's still not that much when you talk about guitars. So here's that vintage tube monster from Behringer. Let's say you can get that. They have there's 15 of them left here on Amazon. What's that Super Pro thing? What is that? Is that a preamp of some sort? I'll look at that later. Anyways, yeah, you got that's what this guy is right here. And that, I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, there's like a Ibanez tube screamer, like especially like the 808. Is it the 808? Not the 9, but the 808. It sounds a lot like that, but I think I like this better simply because it has a tube in it. It actually is a real tube, driver. So I think it's for $100. I mean, even buy it new. My son got it for $50 for me. He got a half off, but you really can't go wrong. I mean, it's gonna scream. If you like that sound, it's gonna have that sound. You'll probably, I mean, you might not like the way I have it set, but you know, it's real nice, big, wonky, you know, big chunky knobs on it. Very easy, very user friendly. It's metal. You know, it's gonna last. Yeah, take care. I mean, even the plastic ones, just don't beat the shit out of them. They'll last. And then there's the amplifier I'm using. That's the one I asked Santa Claus for Christmas, and Santa Claus brought it. So there it is there. Great amplifier. If I ever bought a stack, which don't have any use for one, and don't have any, and you know, my playing, it doesn't really justify playing that loud. But if I ever did, I would probably get the orange, the 412s with that 100-watt head, and you're looking at like $1,200 for that. I mean, you know, I may or may not at some point get a, you know, like this 30-watt Marshall here. I think that's the one. That's the one that's got the special effect. I don't like that one. There's a Marshall, like it's a straight lace Marshall, a little bit different than the one I had from the 90s, but it's around $300. Maybe. I'm probably going to stick with the small amplifiers just because it's more of a hobby for me, and this is more, you know, if I wanted to record with them, I'm just going to mic it up, you know, probably play it somewhere where I can get a better, you know, better reverb and better sound out of it, or maybe I'll just, you know, the thing about the headphone jacks is the headphone jack supposedly has a simulator built into it. It's not as good as the speaker that's in here, that Voice of the World speaker, but it does have a simulator. I'm playing through the headphones. This sounds really good. I like the sound of it. I'm playing it through some nice headphones too, so it's got a nice sound to it. So I would, you know, you could record it straight out through the 1/4-inch jack there, the out, and just bypass the speaker. I'm just turning everything up. Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot to tell you. This thing's got its own dedicated power, which is nice. It also has a noise gate, and here's the threshold in the noise gate here. That makes a big difference. Now, this isn't a loud this is not a buzzy amplifier. Even in distortion, you got the distortion cranked up to 10, you know, the gain up to 10. It doesn't make a lot of noise. But if you start piling on some of these, it can create some noise. Like if you put like a tube screamer, hook it up to this, it's probably going to be a little more noisy. This thing's got a built-in noise gate, so you just keep the noise gate. I keep it about noon, about 50%, and I've been talking here, and it hasn't been. It's on setting. I had it set. No, it's not plugged in anymore. It's actually plugged into nothing, so it should be making a shit ton of noise. Yeah, you can see here, I ain't plugged into anything. It should be going. Doesn't make any noise. Not at all. I mean, you probably didn't know it when I just turned the amplifier off because its noise gate works just fine. So, oh no, sorry. Duh. I did have the master all the way down. So, but that's, yeah, I should still cut the sound out. But I think even if I had the master up, it's still pretty quiet. So, and it's when you plugged in. I mean, you know, if you're not playing, you don't hear a thing. So, I think it's a great setup. It's great jam. I mean, if you just want some cool, nice 60s, 70s, you know, dirty, you know, bassy, throaty distortion, and you don't want to spend a lot of money. I mean, this together, if you bought them brand new, $300. Same price as a Marshall. You know, throw on a $200 guitar, you're at $500. $500 out the door. I obviously got to buy some cords and stuff, but $500 out the door for your stuff. You have a hell of a guitar setup. I mean, more than I need. You know. You know, I think it's probably more than a lot of people need. You know, there's a lot of great players out there. You know, to each their own. But you know, if you're just a hobbyist like me, and you're not, you know, you have no aspirations of being a rock star, it's just at 50 years old, you can't go wrong. You know, it's not that much. If you can buy everything used, hell, you can get everything for half off. You're looking at $200-300 for a whole rig setup. Let's say you got I think they sell these used for $150, so you get 50 off that. So you get 50% off that. You're talking right there. You're only up to $200. You find one of those guitars for like $150, you know, more like $100, you know, you're $300. So I'm sure they're out there. Check around online. I'm sure they're out there for sale. And hopefully, you know, people have taken pretty good care of them too. gotta have new, go buy new. But, you know, like I said, $500, you get yourself a hell of a guitar setup. You know, if you're an effects person and you want more than just reverb, you know, if you want, that reminds me, if you want, you know, so there's replacement tubes right there. If you want, like this guy, I might get this guy. $40, you get the vintage phaser. It's like a clone of, I can't remember which one it's the clone of, like an MXR or whatever. It's got a very vintage phaser, so I might get the vintage phaser just so I get a little bit of modulation, you know, see what it sounds like. Get some cool sweeping phases and stuff with it. It'd be kind of neat, you know, to kind of check it out. I don't really play like that, but I mean, I could probably come up with something cool just to mess around with. $40, I mean, you know, $40 in a 9-volt or a 9-volt adapter. I mean, cheap. Cheap stuff. Like I said, talking about this thing. This guy here. You can get him cheap now, but when he first came out, $55. Bat action figure from Super 7's, $55, right? That's more money than a vintage phaser pedal. That's insane. If you were to say to me back in like the early 90s, late 80s and said, hey, you know those Boss pedals that they're selling for like $100? Yeah? Well, pretty soon and someday, they're going to make action figures. You know the ones you buy for $5? Yeah, they're going to cost almost as much as that Boss pedal. Really? Now we've come, you know, how many years later? More than 30 years later, and you can buy this for $40. You can buy him for $55. Well, I say you can get him cheaper now, but you know what I'm trying to say is prices seem to be all over the place on this stuff. But luckily the music stuff's pretty, I don't think it's changed much since the 90s. Maybe, you know, it's changed probably a little bit since the 80s and 70s, sure, but I don't think it's changed much since the 90s. You know, sure, if you're going to want to buy a brand, you know, a full Gibson for $2,000 or $3,000, yeah, it's going to be expensive. It's expensive 30 years ago. But, all right, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. So you guys get like a taste, you know, like I said, I can't go crazy in the apartment, but you guys get a taste of what this stuff does, kind of demo what I've got. And now I just have to get better at playing guitars and not screw up as much when I get on camera, you know, and that doesn't, they can't really buy that. That just takes a lot of time. And after a year of pretty, you know, I've come back from where I used to be, but I'm, you know, and I was never that great to begin with, but I mean, I've come back a bit, and I've learned new stuff, and I think I've actually gotten a little better than I used to be. It's just, now it's just kind of working out the kinks, polishing, you know, not screwing up, you know, when I try to play for somebody. I don't know why I can play perfectly on my own by myself through headphones, and I never make many mistakes, but you get me around people, and there's stage fright, whatever you want to call it, nerves, I don't know. Usually kind of excited, like an anxious feeling. That's usually kind of, that's why I'm not a musician. I couldn't do it. I mean, unless I smoked a lot of pot, you know. Maybe I could do it then. I could probably mellow out and not be so, you know, so. All right, it is what it is. All right, remember, like and subscribe, and check out my other videos. You know, I'm sure this one will probably go pretty good because you guys really seem to really like the guitar stuff. Unfortunately, outside of getting my son's Flying V over here, or until I buy something new, which I don't really have no use for, I'll do the bass. I'll probably do the bass one a little bit later too. Other than that, there's not much more to show you. You know, if you got something you're thinking you want to know about, like the person who wanted to hear the Leo James demoed, I mean, hit me up. You know, I'm trying to make a video and you know, try to address whatever questions you got. Other than that, like I said, I'd like to hear the comments. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you like this setup. You think these are cool. I like what you hear. And that you could hear it okay. I'm assuming you could, because like I said, my levels were pretty good. I don't think it clipped. So you should have it. And I don't think it was too low. I think it was still pretty good. So everything should sound good. I'll listen to it when I'm done here and see what it sounds like. All right. Sorry, I'm going to keep babbling. All right. Catch you on the next video.